Welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I am your presenter, Alian Christopher. First up, 4 of Dominica's former monarchs are among a list of 20 calypsonians who made it to the semi-final round of Dominica's Calypso competition. The quarter-final round, which was held at the Newtown Savannah on Saturday, saw over 30 calypsonians fighting for a spot in the next round. Coordinator of the Calypso Association, Emmanuel Salman, announced the 20 calypsonians who will perform at the semi-finals.
Scrunter, Checo, Shadow Flow, Dice, Sai, JD, Bob, Chris B, Jammer B, Stephen, Hixie, Third Eye, Genius, Comforter, Adisha, Trendsetter, Logos, and Observer.
Salmat went on to say that while calypsonians who did not make it feel a bit disappointed, they must use their experience to better their art for their next performances. He stated that while he may not agree with all the judges' decision, the judge's decision is final. He went on to say that calypsonians should be judged based on their lyrics, melody, presentation, and their originality.
For years I've had a problem because we see the same melody cropping up over and over again. We see people with a song, singing songs, different words, but I can sing the whole song with them. It's either a song from some past calypsonian singer or from past song that we know and we have heard before. And then lyrics. Sometimes the lyrics in so many instances are just rehashed lyrics that we hear from the same people, but they sing it because they're core of fans. That is what they want, so they sing it. And remember, we need originality is part of that, and it does seem that the judges know anything about that or want to understand that or effect that in their judging.
He admits that there are times when calypsonians are judged on their character rather than the art form.
Where Intruder came and he had one song which everybody thought was a good song, and in the second half, the second verse, he forget it and he burst. He tried again and he burst. And they gave him nil point. Judges gave him nil point, which is unheard of because he came on stage. Presentation, he should get for presentation. He was on stage. And he should also get for lyrics a certain amount, even if you have it. And he should get for melody because that time he had one of the better melodies in the competition. You don't just get angry and say, oh, what did he do there, and just give him blank. Come on, you have to be a responsible person. I have to understand you judging me as a responsible person. And you're judging responsibly, ethically, with principle, and with your full morals about you. I don't expect you to be judging me. You don't judging Hixie because you do like Hixie. That happens so much. It happens so much that I am immune to it. I don't really care. People say you should care. But I don't really care about that. That happens. It has happened over and over and over again. And not to me alone, you know. What's Mass Eruption? Been getting a raw deal. But I haven't been talking about Mass Eruption. Well, I've been talking about him over the years, but not so incensed like I am this time. He writes great songs, great mask songs that I say, boy, I wish I could have thought of that to write it. And I think I'm a competent writer. And I think so about Mass Eruption's composition. The judges don't think so. Every time he writes, they give him a thumbs down. And he sings clear. You hear every word he say. I was there on Saturday. I was in England, you know. I was here on Saturday performing and listening to my competitors, thinking I have to do better than them. And I thought I had to do better than Mass Eruption. Oh, they judged that I did better. But he did 10 times better than plenty other artists I see on the list. People will be angry with me for that. And people will say, oh, you went through. What is your problem? But you know, that has always been my problem. That when the problem is there, I like to talk about it. I've always been so. And they don't like that. And then they'll come now and they'll say, you're going to talk about that slash me next one. Who cares? Their customer doing that anyway.
He revealed that the association does welcome new judges. However, he admits that when an invitation is extended to judges, the same judges always turn up. Family life educator at the Dominica Planned Parenthood, Karen Fabian, is urging the general public to access the services of the Dominica Planned Parenthood. Fabian noted that post-Maria, there may be an increase in pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections.
Is that a lot of sexual health problems would have been compromised based on the fact that there's no electricity and access to services. Although we want to reiterate that Dominica Planned Parenthood was open a week after, but persons who were accustomed to accessing these services at the health center, maybe at other pharmacies, they were impaired. So we know, for example, that there may be a rise in pregnancy, there may be a rise in other sexually transmitted infections. So we're asking the general public if you can actually come in to access our services. We have counseling services. If you think that you're pregnant and you want to do a pregnancy test, we will counsel you before and after you would have done the test.
Fabian indicated that the Dominica Planned Parenthood is planning to be more proactive in sensitizing the general public with information on sexual reproduction health.
The things that we definitely want to work on is a newspaper column whereby we can sensitize and educate the public on sexual reproductive health. They're basic concepts that persons do not know. You know, parts of your vagina, how to care for your vagina or your vulva, how to care for the penis, what signs to look for if you have a sexually transmitted infection, you know, how often to do a pap smear. Why is it important for you to have a HIV test as, you know, often as possible, especially if you believe that you're at risk. So these are our health concerns that we want to look at, especially among our youth. School age, college age, ranging maybe to 35 generally.
And also in the news, the Dominica Business Forum is inviting all stakeholders and partners involved to a national symposium on housing and construction on the 24th and 25th of January at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Severin Mackenzie, president of the Dominica Business Forum, emphasized the need to attend this symposium. According to him, the 2018 hurricane season has been forecasted to be more active and devastating than that of 2017. He states that the forums such as the one planned by the Dominica Business Forum seeks to address the needs to come up with practical solutions.
Hoping to have a supermarket of information being given to the general public on aspects related to the reconstruction process, particularly to homeowners. As you are aware, on the 18th of September 2017, the Commonwealth of Dominica was decimated by the passage of the Category 5 Hurricane Maria. The housing sector was not spared from its ravages, and a substantial percentage of the housing stock has suffered significant damage from the hurricane. As the affected seek to rebuild, the Dominica Business Forum will bring together all stakeholders in the housing and construction industry to a symposium at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium on Wednesday 24th and Thursday 25th January 2018 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon under the theme Practical and Sustainable Solutions for the Challenges of Hurricane Maria, a private sector response.
In outlining the objective of the symposium, Mackenzie said the primary aim of the Housing and Construction Symposium is to allow the stakeholders in the housing and construction industry to share information with the public on resuscitating the housing and construction industry through practical ways.
The symposium will be twofold. One, we will have a main conference area on which is a tent which will accommodate about 200 persons seated, and this tent will have various presentations from different professionals and other stakeholders within the construction industry, where they will be sharing information on issues of national interest or general issues of national interest. And parallel to the conferences and the lectures and presentations that will be taking place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., we are having small conference areas which will sit 10 to 20 persons, where the various service providers will be able to conduct sessions on their specific areas with the public.
Mackenzie says that the Dominica Business Forum hopes that the architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, land surveyors, and all those involved in the construction industry will be in attendance of this symposium. Stay tuned for more news right after this break. And welcome back. Anthony Liebler, president of the Builders and Contractors Association, says that one subject that is of paramount importance is the question of, can I replace my roof with concrete? Liebler noted that subjects such as these one will be open for discussion at the symposium. Liebler went on to say that to date, BCAD has not been able to meet with the government. He laments that one of the concerns is the cost of a construction to existing homeowners.
About the cost of construction to existing homeowners. In particular, our concern has been supply chain. Supply chain not limited only to material but labor. And our concern have been over the years that we do not have adequate skilled, trained, competent persons out there. I don't think we have seen the pinch yet. The pinch is going to come a little later, in a few weeks' time, when more and more people have money from the insurances, from renegotiation of their mortgages to reconstruct their house. And then getting a contractor is a problem. The problem is not the amount of contractors. The problem is whether that contractor can get adequate, able, skilled persons to.
Liebler says that he has foreseen that the cost of labor is going to increase significantly. He added that this brings to mind another issue that BCAD is hoping to address, having continuous training for skilled workers.
Maria and after Maria several times, including the forum with DBF. To my knowledge, nothing has been done to assist us, to assist the country in making sure we have adequate labor to reconstruct. So my answer to you is, our concern is alive like yours. I don't know where it's going to stop. In terms of the material, gauge 2,475 dollars is probably a 16-foot sheet of galvanized. It is not something that should not be expected. That should be at least the usual material used on a house. Our concern though is the VAT that is not being removed from building materials at this point. VAT can only be removed by an act of parliament.
Labler noted that BCAD is particularly interested in seeing VAT removed on building materials. That, he says, can only be done by an act of parliament. And substation officer of the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Services, Wayne Later, noted that the Fire and Ambulance Services Department recorded close to 9,000 ambulance calls for the year 2017. Later indicated that the Fire and Ambulance Services recorded just over 8,600 ambulance calls in 2016.
One of the things I could say offhand, without the data readily available in front of me, is that I know that for 2017, we responded to more ambulance calls than we did in 2016. And remember, in 2016, we had just about 8,672 thereabout. And this year, we have gone past 8,008. We went past 8,800 ambulance calls for the year. And
there was also an increase in fire calls in 2017.
As it relates to fire calls, we also had an increase, and the increase comes because of the amount of bushfires that we responded to, and quite a bit of house fires. And noticeably, particularly after Hurricane Maria, and that would have to do with candle lighting. Some of them have to do with houses, which, because of the type of roofing, we know we have tarpaulin roofing, and some small fires because of that. So generally, the amount of fire calls we responded to, we had a significant number during during 2017. Sorry.
And teacher at the Convent High School and coordinator of the Dance Cancer Away, Leandra Lander, says that this activity is being held in honor of a former teacher who lost her battle with cancer. Lander also noted that the activity will be used as an opportunity to further educate persons about cancer.
I will first say that about 3 to 4 years ago, the Convent High School started raising funds for cancer awareness. We did so in October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and then at that time we donated 100% of the money that we raised to teachers and parents who were affected, especially by breast cancer. Forward 4 years later, one of our teachers again was diagnosed with cancer, and she lost her battle. It's Roland Roberts Barrow. And Mrs. Barrow was very much loved by staff and students here at the Convent High School, very involved in all activities. She was always our driver at teenage, during the parade, during the teenage party. Very loved, very, very loved woman. A woman who loved music, who loved dancing, who loved carnival. She loved life. She died last July. And this month, January, is her birth month. She was born on January 10th, and so we decided to have a dancer-size, an event held in her honor, something she would have enjoyed, dancing. And so we said, why not use the opportunity to educate people, to empower people, to probably get them started in their plan for fitness. It's an early year, it's early in the year, and people might just be thinking of getting healthy for the year. And so we're using all these different reasons to have this dance cancer away, dancer-size.
The Dance Cancer Away will be held on Saturday, January 20th at the Convent High School grounds. And with that, we come to the end of today's Primetime News Package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 team, I am Christopher saying thank you for watching.